कभी कभार such an event happens. See, discrete random variable का another subtopic है, which is binomial distribution. एक example में लिए, if I roll a dice 8 times, what is the probability that I'll get a 5 2 times? अब ऐसे देखा जाए तो how many outcomes are there for a dice? How many outcomes are there for a dice? 6 different outcomes, but the question focuses on just one particular outcome, which is getting a 5. तो इस scenario में हम कह सकते हैं either if I were to make a tree for this, I'll say I'll either get a 5, which is my success, or I will not get a 5, which is my failure. So any particular experiment or scenario which you can model with just two particular outcomes, in which one of the outcome is your success and the other one is your failure, that can be called a binomial experiment. Because उसमें दो ही particular outcomes होंगे, एक success and the other is failure. Okay. If I were to make a tree for this, तो मेरा tree तो बहुत लंबा बनेगा, success and then another. I will not make the entire tree. I'll just need to understand failure, success, and then failure, success and failure, so on and on. अच्छा, will my probability of success change for any particular experiment? एक दफा अगर मैं dice roll करने के बाद, if I roll it again, will it change or not? It won't. So the probability has to be independent for a binomial distribution. अब हम एक probability distribution पढ़ेंगे. We studied that probability distribution table. उसी तरीके से we are doing a particular probability distribution which is called binomial distribution, जिसमें events सिर्फ दो होते हैं, एक success और एक failure, and there are a fixed number of trials and the probability remains independent. So what is the question asking? लिखने का तरीका भी सीखो. X is, I can say X है मेरा discrete random variable which is telling me the number of fives. Will that be a discrete random variable? Number of fives एक हो सकता है, out of the 8 trials दो हो सकता है, 0 हो सकता है, 1 2 3 4 5. From 0 till 8, X can take any particular values. That right? अगर मैं 8 दफा dice फेंक रहा हूँ तो. Now the question is specifically asking me probability that X, which is my number of fives, वो कितनी दफा है मेरे पास? So X is equals to 2. This is what I have to find. Is that right? So how many successes do I want? 2. So how many failures will there be? 6 failures होंगे. So I want the probability for 2 successes and 6 failures. Now just imagine if I were to trace that event in a tree diagram. एक success, 2 success और फिर सारी की सारी. I am again, मैंने 8 trials complete tree बनाई. You can just visualize it. Success, success और फिर failure, 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 failure. How many times will I get failure? 6 times. तो उसमें से एक अगर मैं आपसे पूछता हूँ, success 2 दफा है, success की probability is 1/6. 1/6 की power 2, because 1/6 into 1/6. And failure is, what is the probability of failure? 5/6. Very good, power 6. और ये मेरे पास कितने different arrangements में this event can happen? मैं बात कर रहा हूँ 6 successes की, 1 2 1 2 3 2 successes and 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. So how many arrangements are possible with 2 successes and 6 failures? Yes. इसकी जगह हम लगाएंगे 8 factorial upon, because 2 successes are identical, 2 factorial into 6 factorial again, because 6 failures are identical. Now this entire thing can also be written as 8C2. 8C2, 8C6 भी आप इसको लिख सकते हैं, this entire thing. So 8C2, आप बोल रहे हैं 8 में से 2 success, out of the 8 trials you get 2 successes, and obviously success will have a power 2, and failure, which is 1 minus success, will have a power 6. and this is what is categorized as binomial distribution. N is the number of trials, P is the probability of success. P और Q को add करूं तो 1 है, Q is 1 minus P, and this is a notation for writing a binomial distribution. If your particular variable is binomially distributed, सही है, which variable is this? This is a discrete random variable which is binomially distributed, और इसकी notation में समझो लिखा हुआ था ब्रैकेट में N is the number of trials and P is the, and similarly इसकी expectation हम निकालते हैं mu which is NP, और variance निकालते हैं NPQ which is sigma square. Sigma is standard deviation. Yeah, all these formulae will be provided, you just need to understand them and utilize it. Clear है? And this is the formula for binomial distribution, NCR, success to the power R. For R successes, again, for R successes, out of the n trials, I'll get success R times. And then the probability of success will have the power R, and failure की बाकी power हो जाएगी हमारे पास. Is this clear? This formula will also be provided, but you need to understand on how to apply it. We'll do a question right now, समझ आ जाएगा. ठीक है, again probability इसके बगैर भी कर सकते हो. You could have also applied factorial over here, कितनी successes हैं, कितनी failures हैं, but obviously this one is much more easier. Read this question first. A manufacturer makes two sizes of elastic bands, large and small. 40% of the bands produced are large and 60 are small. Assuming that each pack of these elastic bands contain a random selection, calculate the probability that in a pack containing 20 bands, there are equal number of large and small bands. Can you model this through binomial distribution? दो चीजें देखनी है कि do we have a fixed number of trials? What are we doing? What is the scenario saying? हम कर क्या रहे हैं? We are picking out a pack of bands. How many trials will there be? मैं देखूंगा कि band का packet खोलूंगा and I'll see this is this large, small, large, small, large, small. Can I model it through focus? क्या है ना event का focus क्या है? Dice में भी there are 6 outcomes, but if you are just focusing on कि सर 5 आया या नहीं आया, so that becomes a binomial. So एक तो fixed number of trials है हमारे पास, and then this can be modeled through binomial. हम large और small देख रहे हैं. Now what is your, you will decide पहले x क्या है, your capital X. Is it the number of small bands or the number of large bands? You decide. Read the question and then decide. दोनों से आंसर आ जाता है, दोनों से आंसर करेक्ट होता है. Don't worry about the answer. First decide that अपने वेरिएबल को क्या लूंगा मैं, number of small bands या number of large bands. देखो x, put a colon and put x is the number of large bands. So how many trials are we doing? 20 bands हम देखना है. So 20 trials and the probability of success is 0.4. And what is x? X लिख के colon डाल के लिखो. It is the number of large bands. Is this clear? ये notation लिखना कोई जरूरी नहीं है. This is just to help us understand, because in a few questions, if the question provides us with the notation, we must know what it means. ये पूरे सवाल को अगर इस तरह लिख दिया जाता without providing you the actual practical scenario, तो you must understand कि इसमें 20 trials हो रहे हैं and probability of success is 0.4. Now what the question is asking, remember आपने क्या x decide किया? What did you decide x as? X is number of large bands, right? So what is the question asking now? Equal number of large and small bands. So कितने large bands होंगे? 10. So we will find probability x is equals to 10. Find out probability x is equals to 10. 20 C 10. 20 trials में से 10. Success to the power 10 and failure to the power 10. डालकर बताओ क्या है?
पहले तो अभी हम लार्ज बैंड से है ना, तो फिर हम 40% और 20 बैंड पहले देखते ही नहीं कितने बन रहे हैं,
तो second
उसके बाद कर लेना भी हमें डायरेक्ट
second 40, so that would have given you an average number of large bands. 40% of 20 would have provided you with an average number of large bands. वो थोड़ी निकालनी है, probability निकालनी है कि if I pick out a packet, what is the probability कि आधे उसमें large bands हो? क्या रहा आंसर बच्चों? Yes, Bide, what is the answer? Make sure you write all of this down because नहीं लिखोगे notations वगैरह तो it will become very difficult for you.
1.0
That
0.1
yes, Bide, what is the value for this one?
0.117
7 के आगे क्या देख लो, you are not making a rounding off error.
117
This 3SF पे this answer can be written as 0.117. Now part 2 says more than 17 small bands, but you decided X तो मेरे large bands हैं. So what? We can rephrase the question with respect to large bands as well. The question is saying more than 17 small bands. What does that mean? How many small bands will there be? More than 17 small bands. 18 small bands or 19 small bands or 20 small bands. Now convert this question with respect to the number of large bands. If there are 18 small bands, how many large bands will there be? 2 large bands or 1 large band, or so can I say the number of large bands will be less than 3?
Yes.
So write down probability X is less than 3. Which means you will find the probability of X being 0 plus probability of X being 1 plus probability X being 2. Why did you do it this way? Because you focused on X being the number of large bands. आप दोबारा से X को number of small bands बना के greater than 17 रख के भी कर सकते थे, but then your probability of success would have changed. Be very clear with this. So 0 large bands से क्या मतलब है? सारे के सारे small आ गए. So failure to the power 20, simply 1 large band mean 1 large and the remaining 19 are small, and then 2 large and the remaining 18 are small. You can find each one of their probabilities individually. और से देखो, this one can also, ये पूरा लिखने की जरूरत नहीं, you can just write failure which is 0.6 to the power 20 as well. निकालो जरा, मुझे बताओ what do you get? This is just to help you familiarize with the formula, or now you could have done it directly as well. Once you find their probabilities individually using a calculator, you can add all of them up. What do you get? 3.61 exponent minus 3 or 0.00361. Now let's have a look at this another question. On any day, there is a probability. Focus bachon, comprehension is a very vital part of statistics. On any day, there is a probability of 0.3 that Julie's train is late. 9 days are chosen at random. Find the probability that Julie's train is late on more than 7 days or fewer than 2 days. Now, X is your number of days when the train is late. Is that right? लिख लो X, लिखो colon डाल के right. If you consider X, which is a discrete random variable, the number of days when the train is late. What are the number of trials? How many days are you looking at in total? 9. So can you model this through binomial? Yes. 9 is the number of trials, and what is the probability of success? 0.3. And the question is asking that X is less than 7. Sorry, X is more than 7 or X is less than 2. That is what the question is asking. Is that right? So greater than 7 would mean what values can my X take? 8 and 9. And what about less than 2? What values can my X take? 1 and 0. और से देखा करो X कोई ऐसा वेरिएबल है जो 0 वैल्यू ले सके या ना ले सके. Here X is the number of days when the train is late. Yes, हो सकता है 0 days हो when the train, कोई दिन ही ऐसा ना हो when the train is not late. So X here can take the value 0. Is this clear? Apply binomial for each one of them. Again, यहाँ पे it's very easy. 9 successes means success to the power 9. And here 0 success means failure to the power 9. Find all the probabilities, add them up, let me know what do you get. Let's have a look at पिछले वाले का answer is 0.196. Let's have a look at the next question. The mean number of defective batteries in a pack of 20 is 1.6. सही है. Use binomial distribution to calculate the probability that a randomly chosen pack of 20 will have more than 2 defective batteries. Give this one a go. Mean number of defective batteries कितनी है? 20 में से. So can I say what is the probability of success? 1.6. 1 से बड़ी हो गई probability. Wow. What is the probability of success? कैसे? कोई rule थोड़ी है. Read the question. On average, the question is telling you 1.6 out of 20 are defective. Simple 1.6 out of 20 कर लोगे, that will give you your probability of success. Is that right? This is your probability of success. How many trials are we doing? हाँ बिल्कुल. We can use average का formula इससे बना NP. We have the mean which is 1.6, n is 20. P निकाल लो. Same बात है. Logic से भी कर सकते हो. You can use the formula as well. Now, how many trials are we doing? 20. And what is expected of us? We should find the probability that where X is the number of defective batteries, that greater than 2 batteries are defective. So greater than 2 would mean X can take the values 3, 4, 5, 6 and up till 20. How many times will you have to apply binomial here? Isn't there an easier, a better way? Which values of X are we not considering? 1, 0 and 2. अगर उन तीनों को भी ऐड कर लेता तो टोटल प्रोबेबिलिटी वुड हैव बीन 1. तो 1 में से जो नहीं कंसिडर करनी है उनकी प्रोबेबिलिटी निकाल के माइनस कर सकते हैं. दैट इज द स्मार्टर वे. सो इन सच क्वेश्चंस हम 1 में से we'll subtract the probability of X being 0 or X being 1 or X being 2 from 1, and we will find an answer rather than applying the binomial so many times. Is this clear? Yeah, if the probability of success is 0.08, the probability of failure will be 1 minus 0.08, which is 0.92. Yeah, so once you apply binomial, this one 0 successes means all failures. Failure 0.92 to the power 20. 1 success 20C1, success to the power 1, failure to the power 19. 2 successes 20C2, success to the power 2, failure to the power 18. This is what you should be getting once you add all of these. I hope applying the formula is not that difficult a task in this one. Zero jab ho to formula ke over obedience, you don't need to do that. Zero successes means all failures. So failure, which is 0.92 to the power 20, you can directly do this one.